I'm Kevin Knedler. I'm the state chair from the Ohio Party. I know some of you here. And I've been a state chair since 2007 with Ohio. And I'm going to talk to you today about organization and how it's critical for your survival. I can tell you that the Ohio Party was dead, and more dead in 2006 and 7. We had zero organization. It was way too many people on the state board. It could have been as many as 100 people. It was based on county membership and congressional. You cannot get anything done with a board that big. So I don't brag about much. There's probably one thing that I'm decent at in life, not good at too many things, but I can organize stuff. I can break it down, figure out how to make it work. So I said, look, the whole system's broke. So in 2008, when I was chair, we gutted the entire platform and bylaws of the whole party in Ohio, and by one single vote, because there were people that did not like change, by one vote, which was less than 0.5% of the total delegates there, we passed the bylaw changes that we have today. And those same people that voted against it today are saying, wow, were you right, was I wrong? Has this party taken off? Because we restructured the party. So, a little bit more. I was on the LNC in 2010, backslide, and I was honored with, I can get there we go. I was honored to be a Samuel Adams Award for Activism in 2010. And by the way, I am running for Secretary of State this year in Ohio. It's my first time to run for office, okay? Now, organization is important no matter how you're structured. You can have a state executive team, or you can have a state executive team with a paid executive director. Next slide. You can have a state central committee. You could appoint directors. The Ohio Party is on the lower one. We have a state central committee. We elect those people via primary. The central committee is like a board of directors. It's a big group. But they elect the state executive committee. I'm in charge of the operations group, the day-to-day operations. 7 people. We handle the operations. If I'm doing something wrong, or if they don't like how we're operating the party, then they remove us. It's not like I'm in there forever. And you've been a director, you know how it works. Yeah. So then I appoint the directors. Whatever you do, if you have division directors or directors, they should not be elected by the body. You're stuck with them if they're bad. You should always appoint directors. If you have directors that are managing day-to-day operations, they're appointed. When I first came on board, I had a director of a certain division, and they were elected, just before the bylaw changed, they were elected by the body. And he said, I quote, I don't have to do what you want me to do, I was elected by the body. And I said to that, at that point, I said, I'm going to get you for this. Your day's coming. And 6 months later, we gutted the bylaws, and he was gone. Insubordination should not be tolerated. It was a simple request to get something done to drive the brand. So you need to be able to have, and if you're appointing the wrong people, you do a bad job, then again, you have the central committee right here above you. I'm reporting to people. It's not like I'm king. Excellent. By the way, size does matter. Alicia, quit smiling. I saw that. Bad girl. State Central Committee is acting as a board of directors, can be nearly any size. That's Ohio. If it's based on congressional districts or state assemblies districts. You may have a larger body. Indiana has one based on congressional, I think, a big body. But the fact is, that should not necessarily be your operating group if it's too big. We are fighting for our lives in Ohio for ballot access. When we were doing the hearings in the fall, I made a comment to State Central Committee people. I said, you guys are working on a timeline of months or years preparing for a state convention every 2 years. We're working on hours or possibly minutes. Minutes. 7 people can work with a timeline of minutes. A body of 30 or 40 people cannot. If you have an executive team, it should never be more than 5 to 9 people. If you have a day-to-day operational team, 5 to 9 people, to make it able to work on a timeline of maybe minutes to make a decision. And if you have division directors, they should all be appointed, I said that already, by the operations group or the executive team leader. I'm the executive chair. Next slide. Here's the bottom line. No matter how you're structured, you're still going to have to deal with these issues. We happen to have divisions for each one of these. We don't have a division for that because although we have an office, we don't have a staff. Like Robert Krause is the operations director of the National Party. That makes sense. Some states that have staff and things, they might have an operation manager or operation director. But the bottom line is, I'm not suggesting, although I'm urging you to look at division structure because it works. I'm suggesting to you that no matter how you're structured, you have to deal with this. County development, web design, back-end database, communication, fundraising, political. All these apply no matter how you're structured. These are the fundamental pillars of the organization. The Ohio LPs created a divisional structure. We actually formalized it. I realized that these are the key cornerstones, the foundation of an organization. So we went ahead and created a division. I have a division director in charge of each one so that they can lend their natural or God-given talents to each one of those. If I have a toothache, I'm not going to go down to the barber shop. If I need a haircut, I'm not going to the dentist, right? There was too much of that going on in our party before. I have people that specialize in finance, or they're good with IT, they're better with communication and media, that they're really good at political strategies. Or maybe they want to get out, and this one here, affiliate development, that's somebody that has marketing and sales background. Because they're out there trying to sell the brand, sell the message, and get counties to develop themselves. They have to have good organizational skills. They have to be able to follow a script. They have to be good at sales and marketing. What I have developed here is a sales model. We have people all over the state that are in charge of different regions, and we'll see that later today. It's a sales model. It's a sales region. Okay, one-on-one sales. But this is at a higher level. These are the division directors in charge of each division. We do not have that division there. Okay? We don't need it. Next slide. The good. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good allows for the individual to showcase their talents. I've said that before. It also spreads out the workload so more can be accomplished. We tried an executive director. We dumped all of our eggs in one basket. And when that person quit in July of 2007, we had such a vacuum, it took a year to recover from that because nobody knew what was going on. There was no legacy, no continuity. I'm not suggesting you don't have an executive director, but I'm suggesting you may want to add some other people in other divisions or whatever you want to call it that handle some of the workload. So if one person leaves, you're not dead on arrival because nobody else knows what's going on. You're also, by having divisions or having somebody in charge of that, whether it's a division or not, it reduces burnout. You don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. Again, if somebody leaves, I have just lost a director. Well, I've still got 4 more, and that ain't bad. I've said that often. Builds the bench for future leadership. The more people you have in director roles and deputy director roles, these are people that could be a next chair in the state party. And as a state chair, I should be always looking for somebody to replace me. Never assume that I won't die of a heart attack at age 60 tomorrow or get hit by a bus or a Republican sniper takes me out. Positive teamwork motivates. All these are the good. Next slide. The challenging. Finding talent to fill the roles. It took me probably 3 years to fill all the roles. I had to keep plodding along. It's a volunteer group. I can't put an ad and say I'm going to pay you $20,000 a year and hire somebody or $50,000. I had to find people that really wanted to do it. Therefore, the division roles. These people applying for these roles already have a passion for it. Constant turnover. Horrible. I never saw this coming. I'm going to show you a slide in a minute. I spent more time playing Dr. Phil, calling people off the ledge and babysitting. In the last 4 years, if you've heard any rumors about Ohio, it's true. It has been horrible. Some of the babysitting and, I won't use that word, baloney behavior of some people that are adults. And yet, I'm still standing here, right? It's amazing that I put up with it. You've seen it. It's amazing some of the behavior, some of these idiots out there. They put themselves first before party, and in a way that it's all about them, and they didn't care what happened to the rest of us. Just tit for tat stuff, infighting. you know, there's more drama as a result. And I had to put up with that. And I didn't see that coming, because the more people working for me, the more drama possibly. When I had just an executive director, it was fine, but that person didn't know how to do everything. And frankly, in my corporate job, I'm traveling, I don't have time to do a lot of work. I guide, mentor, set the vision. This is why I'm going to make this comment. If it had not been for the divisions, a significant amount of work would fall to the executive chair, which would lead to quick burnout. And the final one, I just said it, I'm still here because of everything above here, the divisions. If we didn't have the divisions, I would have been gone as chair 5 years ago. I would have burned myself out. Couldn't have done it. No way as big as we are. We're a big state affiliate. That's just the way it is. And there's too much work. I would have burned out. I would have been gone. So the bigger the state, you might want to give this serious consideration. If you're a small state, start with small things. Maybe you have an IT director initially. Maybe you already have that person. Okay, you need to get a communication director. Think about these things. And by the way, this slide presentation, all you got to do is ask me, chair@lpo.org. Send me an email, chair@lpo, stands for Ohio, not Oregon. I kid with them all the time because we got the O first. And I'll send it to you. Plus, you're going to have it online. Next slide. This is what I'm talking about. This is a timeline I did. Divisions. I only did the 5 divisions. And then I did the years, 2008, 9, right on through. You can see here for leadership and the political division, I've only had three people since 2008. I've had one in the last 18 months. That's continuity. That's Bob Bridges. That's continuity. Field development, not so good. I've had 3 people in the last 18 months. I'm an HR man, talent search. Communication, just lost Aaron Harris, so I've got a new one. Actually, that color should be a little different. We've had 2 in the last 18 months. I've had 5 since 2008. Finance, fundraising, just had another one. I had one person that lasted a month, and now I've got another person that is going to be okay. I've got 3 in the last 18 months. I've had 4 since 2011 when we created the position. IT, this has been a nightmare. I've had 8 people as director of this division since 2008. I've had 5 in the last 18 months. It's no wonder I'm about to hire people from outside of the state to be our IT director. We are dying because we don't have a database. I have no skill sets in IT and data. And I had a dinner meeting last night. You were there, Ken. That is the #1 thing this party has got to start doing. The national party needs to take the lead. And if they're not going to take the lead, the states are going to have to get together. We need a data system that's updated with Aristotle and all that. And it can be used for walking lists, fundraising, all these things. And each state right now is trying to do it on their own. And if Ohio can't do it, well, guess what? There's probably 40 other states or more that can't do it either. Because we have the money. We can't get over it. We can't keep somebody on point long enough. We get the new website up. I can get people to do front end stuff. It's the back end. Now, I'm meeting with people, and we may have to pay some money to get it done. By God, we're going to get it done. Because that's been the one failure on my part. I keep putting people in there. And look, some of them they're good people. They have family issues, spouse issues. I get that. They're volunteering. But we got to get over that hurdle. And this has been my biggest failure, is I keep putting people in there, and they just can't pull the trigger. And I think we're just going to have to hire somebody. So that, I just want to give you a timeline. This is what you're up against. This is the negative. You've got to have the patience of a saint. And yes, you are herding cats at times.
Angry feral cats.
Next slide. 6 keys, almost done. 6 keys to a successful organization. I have this on the wall in our office. I believe it. I preach it. You've gotten tired of hearing it, because I know you were a director once. You've heard it. #1, solid leadership with a vision. That would be my job. #2, to be a solid organization, team structure with a mission statement and a plan. Here's the problem. You need both. You can have a great leadership, but if you have a bad team underneath of them, it won't matter. They could be Jesus Christ, our Lord, our Savior, in charge of the party. And if they have a bad team under them, they're going to fail. Yeah, I just thought of that, but that's the truth. You have to have both. You can have a great team, but with no leadership, they're like the hamsters in the wheel, just going around in motion. a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. You've got to have both. There's somebody in your group that's going to rise to the top. Not everybody is meant to be a general. I'm sorry. This is the real world out there. If they're meant to be a sergeant, keep them as a sergeant. I have some sergeants that are unbelievable activists, getting things done, getting in the foxholes, fighting the battles, but I've never put them in management positions because they'll fail. They're not organized. They don't know how to do. They don't know how to manage people. It is critical that you do these top two things. You have to have leadership, and you have to have an organization. This is the one that's driving me crazy. I thought this was a no-brainer. Positive culture and discipline. Reject apathy. My hero Woody Hayes talked about apathy. The old coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes talked about apathy and how it is a cancer that will infect you and it will infect everybody around you. Negativism, apathy, they are horrible things. Kill it, stamp it out, get rid of the people that are that way. They will infect you all. And I've had years worth of that crap in the last 18 months in the Ohio Party. And we have cut it out and we've got rid of it. Or they quit. You know what I'm talking about, Carlton? We had to get rid of them because they were going to infect me. I was wearing out all the tit-for-tat stuff. Yeah, every party's got this, but you've got to keep an eye on this. Keep it positive. Buy everybody a lunch. Take them out to dinner once in a while. Have little events. Have a weekend event where you get together and you strategize. But this part right here is in red for a reason because Ohio has had 25 years worth of this crap in the last 18 months. And I'm sick of it. And I'm a little mad right now, aren't I? But the point is, we've got rid of that, and now so the point I'm making here is if you've got too much of this, these two are still going to fail. Because these are human beings up here. They're human beings. Even I can finally throw my hands up and say, I just give up, just arguing. Okay? Even I was on the brink. The next one, build the bench for the future. Key words from a man that now lives in Germany, who's a former member, lived up near Bowling Green. He said, Kevin, will you be missed when you leave the party? And I said, probably. And he said, I hope like hell you're not missed. Does that make sense? When you're a state chair and you step down, you should not be missed. Emotionally, yes. But on a business model standpoint, you should not be missed. Why? Because you built the bench. You should be building the bench and looking for your replacement every day you're on the job. Looking for talent. Looking for a division director that's going to take over and replace you. Do not let ego take over. Nothing's forever. Nothing is forever. So when I step down, I better make sure I'm not missed. That the Ohio Party continues on. That there's somebody to take over. And I'm working on that because I'm term limited. I'm done in 2016. County level affiliates, you need the grassroots. See, I believe in both. People talk about bottom up. You need both. No matter what we do here, if we don't have county affiliates like Franklin County, which is Columbus, and other counties, Summit County, which is Akron, Ohio, if we don't have counties doing some work and activism, all the greatest plans in the world aren't going to mean anything because all the action happens at the local level. I know that. But you have to devise a plan, have your insurance, make sure you got ballot access. You know, all these things have to be done at a higher level. Have a nice website that you can, the database that you can give to the counties. Some of this is better if it is centralized, okay? Because we have 88 counties. And finally, win some elections. I believe that you don't really start winning elections frequently until you start doing this. When I say win elections, I mean state house seats, state assembly. You start winning these elections if you're doing some of this basic blocking and tackling, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, you start winning elections. Also, I say there's no I in team. No I in team. It's a team, no I. And I point this out to directors. When I start hearing them say, I did this, I did this, that is a warning to me. And I have to set them down and have a little talk with them. You start hearing people say I too much, stop that. Say we, together, us. They've got to get that culture changed. Back to this. And the first 4 items are true of any organization. I don't care if it's a group that likes to do mountain biking, or a group that's a bridge club, or a group that is a flower likes wildflowers. These first four of any organization are probably true if they want to continue. These are more unique to us. Next slide. That's all I have today. Now this kicks off for the rest of the afternoon some of these divisions we talked about. We talked about fundraising, finance, talked about communications, talked about political, talked about IT data, talked about local affiliates. That's what you're now going to hear about. I kind of wanted to tee it off with you to show you how we're structured, how we focus. Now we're going to start getting off the 60,000 foot level and get down in the weeds a little more. So I'm going to step back and I'm going to introduce Brett Vajunas from Nevada. He's going to talk about finance fundraising. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.